Appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us for another edition of the Morning Breeze, man. Always rocking with you guys, as always, man. Outside of me, I got my guy, Mr. Media himself, Jordan JC, in the building. I just realized this whole time we were muted. They couldn't hear us.
Oh! Yeah, go ahead.
Breeze Nation, what is good? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. As always, hit that like button. Happy man, we getting to the video. I ain't doing that.
I love it. It's always an eventful morning.
Oh, God. What a terrible start. That's okay. We're talking about ESPN's mock draft. They have Zion Young mocked to the Chicago Bears. Finally getting a Zion to Chicago, and it's going to be good to be able to go out there and have maybe a less freaky Zion in the city of Chicago. On top of that, we got some kind of talk about is all in truly the wrong answer? History would give you a very different tale on going all in. So we got to talk about that as well. All that and more in today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Hit the like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. How embarrassing to start the show that way. We're gonna have to put that in the description so people know, make it over here. George JC, what's going on with you, my boy? How you feeling, man?
What's going on, Pat, man? I'm looking forward to it, man. NFL season is over, but I mean, we're just getting started with the draft season starting, with mock season starting, and it's exciting because now I can do a lot of draft player breakdowns. We're going to get really deep diving into some of these guys that the Bears probably won't be getting, but maybe one of those guys will be here. We'll see.
It's so weird being at 25. I'm not gonna lie to you because, by the way, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do.
Come on, push the button. Come on, push the button. Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push your button.
You heard what she said.
Y'all heard what Sue Young said. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. Pay no attention to the screen. Except for now. Now you can pay attention. That was a rough start to the morning. Jeez, no audio.
Hey man, we recover. Okay, we
had
recover.
A random antivirus. Rough start to the game. We got to pick ourselves back up and get back out there and finish this drive off.
Only gets better.
It's weird being 25 in the draft because to me, you know, we're getting a lot more realistic names that are actually popping up around the Chicago Bears. It's not all, oh God, go for the jugular. You have to make this happen. You can't live without this guy. Now, eventually, right, we'll probably get to a point where that will end up being the case. That will be the conversation on some of the picks that are out there, right? But starting things off here, I mean, Zion Young, as a defensive end, feels very solid of a pick for 25. I mean, it doesn't feel like a reach at the position. Doesn't feel like, and I know right by the end of the year usually is when it gets crazy, but how crazy can you get at 25? So starting it off here, Zion Young, like I was saying, really solid player. I think he is, I mean, for what a modern defensive end is, a modern edge, I don't think that you can have a better prototype than what he brings. I mean, you're talking about a guy that has really good length, has the burst, has positional flexibility of playing inside, outside. We know the Chicago Bears love that. There's never been a time that the Bears haven't been all in on positional flexibility. To me, I think you're talking about a player who, this is your high floor, maybe a little bit lower ceiling, but sure pick kind of guy in the position that Chicago Bears are in right now. I think that when you talk about going out and looking at Zion Young and how impactful he's been, when you look at his numbers, they may not jump off the screen at you. It may not be something that you sit there and go, oh my God, how did you miss on this guy? But it's somebody who feels like they really can step in right away. Senior class as well. 6'5", 262 pounds, 21 years old, out of Mizzou. I guess all of that information also very relevant here. Just it feels like everything on his game can be refined, can be developed, but also that he brings a lot to the table with where he's starting off right now. What are your thoughts on Zion Young, JC?
I mean, I like him as a prospect. As I've said before, I think there are a lot of defensive ends and just defensive linemen in this draft that can really I think are really going to have an impact at the next level, and specifically for the Bears are going to be in that range of really being good picks and developmental pieces at the least. And when you pair him up with the Dennis Allen, meaning Zion Young, I think he can develop even more into what he could be. I don't think he's the type of player that you're seeing the best of what he is yet. If you get him with the right coaching staff, and I believe we have that coaching staff. So if you go the route of getting the Mizzou, what is it, Tiger? Yeah, Tiger.
Yeah.
He is versatile. He played his first 2 seasons in Michigan State. His numbers continue to get better and better as far as the sack total. He only had 11.5 over his 4-year career, but he continued to improve. You love the reach. You love the arm length. I think he's 33.5 inches when it comes to his arm length. And
Shout
so
out to this guy.
Whoa. But I think that he's someone who can also kind of fend off those longer opposing tackles. You know, that's always been an issue when it comes to the length and going up against NFL level tackles who have length, who have this foot speed to keep up with certain edge rushers. And so I do love his versatility. You can put him inside, and maybe that strength and that burst can kind of shock those guards into pushing them right into the quarterback, the least path to the quarterback. And so there are certain ways that you can use Zion Young, and I think that his ceiling hasn't been met yet. He's somebody who I think, like I said, his numbers don't show what he potentially could be, and so there's some value there that may be hidden in getting a Zion Young. I still think there are some better prospects out there. Hopefully that will be there at number 25 for the Bears, because I believe he has a 2nd-round grade, but I wouldn't be mad if Zion Young was the route that we take at 25.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see kind of what the Bears' philosophy is. Do you want to go with a prospect? Do you want to go with a guy that you have, you know, and I think Zion Young still has a ton of high upside, right? He's shown flashes in just about everything. The one thing that he's been consistent with on the field has been his IQ, right? And I think this is the exciting part. No matter what the 4.4 time is on guys, at least this is how I go through my draft breakdown and I operate, right? I don't care what the 4.4 time on this guy is. I don't care what the 40 time on this guy is. I don't care, maybe the 3-cone drill a little bit, because that shows you, kind of how a guy is getting in and out. But realistically, there's a lot of football that has been played on the field. And how do these guys look with the football that has been played on the field? And to me, what I see is a player who, no matter what the numbers are, he plays fast. High IQ. Once he understands the system, he's able to get there quickly. That's very big for me, right? A Jack Sanborn mindset, if you will, right? Jack Sanborn wasn't the best, wasn't the fastest, wasn't the quickest, didn't have all the great numbers to go along with him. And I'm not saying Zion Young won't, right? We haven't seen anything from him. In fact, I think he plays incredibly fast on the field. But that's the part that's important, right? It's about how quickly can he create an impact on the defensive end of the football, and I think that he can do that fairly quickly. What ESPN had to say about him is with the Bears taking him 25 pass rushes, an obvious need after the Bears posted the NFL's 2nd worst pass rush win rate in 2025. Young would help improve the unit in a hurry with his power and heavy hands off the edge. He also brings versatility, having played some at defensive tackle during his first 2 college seasons at Michigan State. Young's upper body power and 33.5-inch arms allow him to power through the anchor of opposing tackles. That was on full display during the rock solid Senior Bowl week.
Rock solid.
We don't got to put all the sponsors in there. I could see him pairing with Montez Sweat really well. And listen, that is kind of, the bottom line of all of this. How do guys fit in with guys like Montez? How do guys fit in with the defensive line that is here. And I think that he steps in day one and can bring you an impact. Again, I think the floor is very high on this young man. I think he brings you some of that versatility as far as the pass rush, giving some speed off of the edge, but also being able to set the edge in the run game, forcing running backs to take longer routes, giving you more opportunity to really improve your game there. I think that that's something, that we'll talk about later tonight, that you have the pieces to be a good run defense. In fact, this Bears team has been a good run defense with these pieces. You just got to get that line help again.
Yeah. No, I'm totally right there with you. And even with speaking more on Zion Young, you mentioned it, is the ceiling may not be the highest, but the floor is not low in any sense. And for a prospect like that, I look at it in three stages. You have your prospects or your defensive ends who are the clear-cut superstars from college, and they're the ones that explode on the scene, elite burst, elite motor, elite, quickness, has a ton of pass rush moves, things of that nature, has the numbers, right? But they've only played maybe 1 or 2 years. And so you're taking a chance on a younger prospect who has shown those flashes. And then you have the prospects like a Zion Young, who has been in college for a long amount of time and has had the experience. And so he knows and sees what's going on. He's been to 2 different college programs who are actually very good in developing defenses and having defensive prospects going to the next level. And so you have those guys who you can trust at least will stabilize wherever they go. They're not necessarily going to wow you all of the time, but there's somebody that you can rely on. They're dependable. And then, of course, you have your prospects that are the developmental pieces that you see things in their game that you want to maybe bring out more. Maybe they have 1 or 2 things in their bag that they're very good at. They might have elite bursts, but they need to work on their hand movement and their punch or their bull rush. Or they need to have more tricks in their bag when it comes to pass rush moves. And so I believe he's right there in the middle. I think Zion Young, like I said, you can't do any more wrong. I don't think you can do worse than Zion Young. And again, I think it goes understated. When you match them up with the right coaching staff, you can get more out of a player than what they've shown. And so we've seen that with all of the players, even already on the Bears, when they came, when the coaching staff, that 5-star staff that we made, came here, you see that there's been progress. Even you look at Austin Booker, as much as Dennis Allen didn't necessarily see Austin Booker as his prototype, Austin Booker did what he had to do when he came on that field. And so is there something to be said about when you actually get a prospect that Dennis Allen wants in a Zion Young, who has the build, who has the height and everything, then that could do wonders. And so for me, I feel like that pairing, that will make him continue to reach his ceiling or his own personal peak in the NFL.
Yeah, I think when the other thing with him too, and you kind of hit the nail on the head there, right? What's he going to be once Dennis Allen is able to build him up? Because would you rather have the guy that is the mold of clay, that's the perfect body type for the position that you can build up, or would you rather have the guy that has the high upside, that has I guess that boom or bust factor, right? And last year's, was James Pierce Jr. We saw all of the flashes. We saw all of the moments. And James Pierce looked phenomenal in college. Yeah. And then the second year in college, right, the numbers came down a little bit because teams were focusing on him a little bit more. But guess what? He was still 8 sacks per game. But because of that drop-off, everybody was like, he's got the traits. But I don't know if we want to go that direction with him just yet.
Yeah.
Well, you missed out on a player that's 10.5 sacks. Now you also missed out on a player that decided to, try to run over multiple police and lose his mind in his second year in the NFL, which there were some off the field questions on him back then.
A lot of boom and busted crash.
He's going to lose his entire prime. That's crazy, bro. They finna throw him under the jail. They finna lock that young man away. That's tough.
Yeah,
that is, you hate to see it. I'll tell you that. Jeez. Atlanta just missing all over the place with drafts on that one. But no, like, bro, I will say this. I know it's not a funny situation, bad situation. He's trying to cause domestic violence, yada, yada, yada. What was a little bit funny, though, you see how many cops it took to try and take him down? Like, did anybody else watch the cop video of them trying to take him down and just go,
I didn't, but I'm
got
sure
10.5 sacks, bro? What's a defensive end gonna do? It took 9 cops.
Wait, what was it? Was it like our guy who was? What is my charge?
Yes, bro, exactly like him, bro.
I mean, he got a succulent meal, a succulent Chinese meal. What is my charge? Are you there, sir?
Look at you. Well. You know your judo well.
He had like 4 or 5 guys. He didn't go nowhere.
Bro, what is the charge, sir? Enjoying a meal? God. A succulent Chinese meal? Look at the headlock on this bloke. He knows his judo well. Take your hand off my penis. And you, sir, are you ready to receive my limp penis?
Please, if you don't know what we're talking about, I implore you to go just.
Bro, that's one of the greatest videos on the internet of all time.
Please put in succulent.
That is one of the greatest videos on the internet of all time. If you don't know what we're talking about, your life is incomplete. That is exactly how James Pierce led.
Will change your life. That is hilarious. Woo.
What is the charge? Enjoying a meal? A succulent Chinese meal? Yes. And look at the headlock here. Look at the judo on this one. You know what was great about that? I seen a video not too long ago where they like went back and were talking about different internet popular videos.
Yeah.
And Buddy did nothing wrong. Like he actually explained that he said like the FBI thought that he was somebody else, and so they arrested him.
He thought he was like a normal person that was always trying to like get away with I don't know, like
it was like tax evasion or something like that.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
Like, dude, this man is just trying to eat his meal, eat some food.
Baki said, "Is that video and the Leroy Jenkins video, bro? The Leroy Jenkins video is classic, bro. That Leroy Jenkins video will never get old.
Down a whole rabbit hole because of your James Pierce comments."
Could you give me a breakdown on our chances there? Oh, yeah, we're probably working with about a 33.333% chance of success here. Repeating, of course. Well, I don't like those odds, but they're better than 0. All right, everybody, let's just make sure that we stick to the plan. All right, I'm back, boys. Leroy Jenkins.
Oh my God, what is this?
I miss the internet. I miss when the internet was elite, bro. All the AI is killing me, bro.
New. Yeah,
all the AI is killing me, bro. I miss when the internet was elite, bro.
Bring it back to the good old days.
Oh man, is that how we're gonna be as old men? That's our version of Drew.
Yeah.
That's our version of Drew. All these AI videos. You had to be funny back in my day to make it on the internet.
You had 15 seconds to make a funny video. It was called Vine.
They bringing that back. Let's do it.
Vine.
Hey, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love as always. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. How did we get down that rabbit hole? Oh, we're talking about James Pierce. We're talking about James Pierce Jr.
50 cops.
And he was not going down. But bottom line on that whole situation, right? And you know how it relates to Zion Young here. James Pierce showed you all of the traits in college. It just was about putting him in the right defense, putting him on the field, and him being able to be put in good positions for him to have success. I think you saw a ton of that. He had the traits. He had the ability. He showed you some of the numbers. Now, Zion Young's numbers nowhere near where James Pierce was, but when you start to look at his advanced game, right, the numbers aren't just what scream out at you. It is also a player who, like I said, can set the edge, do a lot of different things on the football field that they expected Dayo Dangbo to do. But last year, 6.5 sacks, had 20 solo tackles, had 22 assisted tackles, had 2 forced fumbles, which is very good for the Chicago Bears and how good they were at turning the football over. What I like about it, over his time there, 5 passes defended. That is probably my pet peeve with these group of 6'5" guys, 6'6" guys, 6'7" guys that are massive on the defensive line. Too often they don't rush and then get the hands up once you realize you can't win the rush. This young man comes in knowing that this is the way that you need to play football already, and so something that you don't teach. So like we talked about, ton of upside. Can't sit here and say that he helped Mizzou do a ton of winning in his time there because, Mizzou. But it was to me, you're starting off a mock draft in the 25s with not an insane name. You know what I mean? That's a weird feeling for me to have. Like, I just remember, how could you not go Jaden Daniels? Because Caleb's the best quarterback in this draft. Yeah, come on, dog. How could you not go Jaden Daniels? We probably not gonna have too much of that. How could you not go, bro? It's because we started down the internet road, bro. Once I start down that, that's gonna have me crying. Let us know how you guys feel in the comments below, man. Let us know if this is even a position you're looking at. Do you want to go defensive tackle? Do you want to go defensive end? I think the Bears have a need at both. So get as much as you can as possible in this draft. But Zion Young starting things off for the Bears here in the ESPN mock draft. Let's keep this thing moving along, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. As always, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. We're going to take a quick break, listening to a word from our sponsors. When we come back, your boy did a little research. Because we always talk about all in, right? We're always saying, is it all in?
Is it? You tell me. Okay.
I still got more to give. Hey, we're always saying. What a start to the show. We're having a great time. We're always saying, should the Chicago Bears be all in? What's all in? Does all in work? And usually talking about going out and getting the big fish. We'll talk about that more coming up next. But first, got to listen into a word from our sponsors over at Aura. They're all in. Episode of the podcast is brought to you by Aura. Have you ever done a Google search on your own name? You'd be surprised what pops up. Your full name, email address, home address, health records, your relatives. It's all out there. And that's why I've been using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out requests just for me. Cleaning up my information not only helps reduce the amount of spam I get, but it protects me from hackers who could use that information to help them access my social media, bank accounts, and other sensitive information. It's really simple to set up. I don't have to download several apps or go to things like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft, but you can get all of that in one place with Aura. I get everything at one affordable price as well. You may already have one or two of these tools, but not having Aura is like leaving the front door locked while leaving the back door and windows wide open. For you to be able to take advantage of Aura, we got a special deal for you here today. Stop data brokers from exposing your personal information. Go to my sponsor at https:/aura.com/the Windy City. Again, that is aura.com/the Windy City to get a 14-day free trial and see how much of your information is being sold. Breeze Nation, what is good? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Ladies and gentlemen, we got merch. That's right. New website, new merch, all out. We've been telling you guys to pull up on us. Now you can at twcbreeze.com, where you can find out all of the latest stuff going on. What all can they find there, Super Producer?
Listen, you can join the nation, sign up to our mailing list, and be up to date for events and news. You can also visit the shop page and order merch, because we have t-shirts, we got hoodies, we got mugs, we got hats, we got all kind of stuff. So, hey, we appreciate you being tuned in with us. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube page and follow us on all our socials. Check us out at twcbreeze.com.
He's way too excited.
I am.
Thanks, man.
Welcome back. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. As always, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. We are over 100 Let's get over 100 likes on the video, man. Make sure y'all hit that thumbs up button this morning, man. Big shout out to you guys. Just got done talking about Zion Young. I think I said Zion Williamson when the mics were muted. So I'm glad that didn't go out over the air because nobody wants Zion Williamson out here.
Zion
Stephen A. No.
And porn.
Well.
Oh.
Hey, well.
We don't need all of that.
It is still a problem, apparently. And not even good looking ones, just ugly ones.
Yeah, you're not even trying. That's sad.
Yeah, he's screaming out the same thing as that guy as well. Take your hands off my face.
What is the charge?
What is the charge? Enjoying a meal? He kind of is saying the exact same thing. A succulent Chinese meal? A succulent pelican's meal?
What is going on?
Ah, yes.
Succulent.
Look at the judo on this one.
Oh boy.
Oh man, just got done talking about Zion Young. Now we got to talk about, a reason to actually have a player like that. Because listen, if you're starting with Zion Young, right, I think a lot of people in the world would look around and go, hey, Max Crosby. You know what I mean? Like, not that Zion Young doesn't have upside, not that there's not a lot of hope for Zion Young, not that I don't think that he can be a solid player for the Chicago Bears to go out there and get. But, right, if you had to pick between Zion Young, who's a prospect that you have to develop with the coaching staff and you have to build up, and not as much of the excitement and the flash, or Max Crosby, there's a lot of people that would say, well, of course, I want Max Crosby on this team. But I went through a deep dive because we always talk about the all-in players, guys that you're making the move, you're going after it. You got to get the big name guy right now. And I looked through the history of teams that went about making that move, and I put it through a little filter search here. And I went down and essentially broke it down into guys that help teams get to a championship game, guys that help teams at least get to an NFC championship game.
Okay.
And guys that, maybe that it was a fun season, but essentially it didn't turn into anything big. Going all the way back to 2018 when the Bears, of course, make their big trade for a piece.
All right.
Here are the names of guys that helped you win a Super Bowl, and I would say one of these names had much more of an impact than the other, although both names did have an impact for this team, both for the Rams. Matthew Stafford and Jalen Ramsey both traded for pretty big draft capital in their times, switching teams. That was... What was it? Stafford was 2 firsts plus Jared Goff. I believe there were some seconds in there as well. You upgraded your QB position, and you won the Super Bowl, right? You can't complain about that. Ramsey was a similar situation, a similar all-in situation, cost him multiple firsts, a couple of more picks as well. Played really solid for that team that year, but remember, he was the piece that was getting burned on when that Super Bowl should have been lost for Matthew Stafford by Joe Burrow, but Aaron Donald ends up saving the day. That's the end of the list.
Wow. I thought you were going to give me a few more.
That is the end of the list of guys that won a Super Bowl by going big fish hunting. Now, you want to talk about guys that have been to or at least contributed to on some of these, getting to an AFC title game. The list does get a little bit bigger in that conversation. You got to throw a Christian McCaffrey in there, who was mid-round picks and seconds and stuff like that. But at the time, there was a lot there. Stephon Diggs going from the Vikings to the Bills cost multiple firsts plus more picks, or cost a first, I should say, plus more picks. He helped the Bills get to an AFC championship game, was a big part of that. The air quotes on one, Orlando Brown Jr. Cost, it was some pick swaps in there, big draft capital given up to go get that player as well. He got a Super Bowl appearance and a win, but he was awful. So I don't know if you really can count that as a win. I think Pat Mahomes was just really good in that scenario. And that's the end. Outside of that, Khalil Mack, Jamal Adams, Minka Fitzpatrick when he went to the Steelers the first time, Laramie Tunsil, Trey Lance, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, Tyreek Hill, Justin Fields. I included some of the draft guys in there as well. Giving big draft capital there. None of them, and these are the big names that were traded over the last few years, none of them helped their teams realistically even get past the second round. I believe Tyreek Hill probably got the first. Russell Wilson technically helped the Seahawks just win a Super Bowl with the draft haul that they gave up for him, which is why a lot of these, we look back at a lot of these and go, well, it kind of ended up a wash because they didn't really get a great player and they didn't really get any draft picks, right? So you kind of go, well, it ended up a wash because they didn't draft well. But those are picks that you could have improved your team with. So when you look at history and you talk about going big fish hunting, when you talk about going all in, I know Micah Parsons is a name that is exciting. I'm sorry, not Micah Parsons. Max Crosby is a name that is exciting. I know Myles Garrett. Now, Myles Garrett may be a little bit of a different conversation. Actually, a bit of a different conversation.
Yeah.
But even in that scenario, right? The more than likely case is you're going to help the Browns improve a ton because of everything that you're going to have to give up to go get that player. I know a name like Zion Young doesn't jump off the pages at you, but what you bring this coaching staff here for, if not to develop players all in generally, can give you some fun seasons. Khalil Mack was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was exciting, but
it was never better than game one, though.
You only saw the best of him versus the Packers.
It was never better than game one. I would say the best of him. He did toss a couple of human beings aside.
Oh yeah.
He was still an incredibly dominant player, but I would say the highest that we ever got, and truly because we didn't have much playoff success. The highest we ever got was that first Packer game because that was as close to a playoff game as we got in that time span.
Yeah, I look, to me, I mean, what do you view as successful when it comes to being all in? Do you say that okay, you're coming from the depths of your division, or you're a team that has bottomed out consistently every year and you're at the bottom of the league in ranking and record, and now you go for a big piece and now you've made the playoffs or you're over 500? Could you say that's a win versus maybe a team that is on the cusp of getting to the playoffs and now they're trading their entire future value of draft picks for like a defensive end like Myles Garrett or Max Crosby to say we're one piece away or a couple pieces away from really being a complete team, and we think that we can compete with anybody if we make this move. But now our window has shortened to maybe 3 or 4 years of getting this right and getting to a championship. So I guess my thing is, what is the definition of how successful a team is going when it comes to all in? I guess my definition of all in would be you either are winning it all or you're winning nothing. And as you can see, the Bears are an example of that with Khalil Mack. Like you said, it was fun, it was exciting, but is that what you want? Is that the peak of your powers? Do you want to just have a fun and exciting team to watch, but still get nowhere in the course of 4 to 5 years? Or do you want to make sure that you go about this methodically and in a sense lethargically, because that's what works? I guess boring works, right? Boring isn't always fun because boring is boring, but boring works over the course of a period of time, because now you're building up all these different positions and areas of need on your team instead of giving away all your value and giving away all your draft capital and going all in on one person. Now, I'm not sitting here and saying that I don't want Myles Garrett or I don't want Max Crosby, because I truly think that if we had a piece like that, then where we were this year to where we could be with that piece next year could do wonders. I truly feel like that, along with this coaching staff, that we would go further. However, there's still a chance that you're taking a chance with that, because other teams are going to get better. Other teams are also going to try and find a way to get the best free agents and pick draft picks that are going to have an impact as well. So it's not like it's just you as a team getting better. It's other teams around you getting better as well to try and challenge you. And so that's always the issue is, how do you fare with that? So I don't know. I guess given the track record, all in doesn't really work. all in. It doesn't have a good track record, but it's fun. So I guess the boring route would be the best way to go.
Here's the funny part. I would push back. I would say that the boring route is fun. The Kansas City Chiefs were one of the funnest teams that we've ever watched. They drafted every piece on that team. They drafted Tyreek. They drafted Kelsey. They drafted Mahomes, right? It wasn't bad. They drafted Chris Jones. They drafted Trent McDuffie. That team was incredibly fun to watch. The Philadelphia Eagles, when they were going crazy, now people got sick of it, right? But it was fun to watch that first Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts balling out in the manner that he did, and 38-35, and how they played that entire season. Like that was incredibly fun. And so I think that it's like the process of getting there may not always be fun, but I would argue it's more fun for you to go with the team that is drafted because you're seeing the pieces that your coaching staff built up. You're seeing the pieces that your coaching staff developed and put in positions to go out there and be successful, go out there and win a ton of games, win Super Bowls, you look at what just happened with the Seattle Seahawks. There's a lot of people out there that would look at it and go, that wasn't a fun Super Bowl to watch. Guess what? There's probably a lot of people around the world that would say that about the 85 Bears when they dominated that Super Bowl. But if you're talking about football for years to come, with how far under the cap they are, with how much they can add to this team, with how many players they can re-sign onto this team, with how many contracts they can get done and still go out there and add pieces via the draft, that's a fun project to watch continue to build. And so, like, for me, I would say, and looking through the history of it, I think has made me probably even more so than I was before, because again, like I was like, if Max Crosby shows up, I'd be excited. I'm almost more so like, I would so much rather build this team via the draft. I would so much rather take a chance on a Zion Young and the upside that he has and the development the DA has been able to show, because we've seen that work. And it was so much fun this year watching Colston Loveland take off, watching Luther Burden take off, watching Nashawn Wright come out of nowhere and lead the league in interceptions, right? Watching CJ GJ step onto the field and be able to find his footing. Like, those were moments that define this season. And so I think that not only would that be the best path, but to me, when you talk about the fun, it may not be as fun or exciting in the beginning, especially when you're drafting 25, but when those guys hit, dominant. And that is the part that's the most exciting.
I mean, no, I don't get me wrong. I think it's exciting if you know how to draft right. Like, the Kansas City Chiefs, to me, are an outlier because every single year it seemed like they continue to get it right. After, obviously, that they got their quarterback for the next 10 years in Patrick Mahomes, 10 plus years. They addressed so many different areas and they kept getting it right, whether it was L'Jarius Sneed, McDuffie, Chris Jones, Nick Bolton, whoever else you would like, you've been Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce. Like, they kept getting it right. And so I think that's exactly, if this is the route you're going to go, that's what you got to do. And here again, Ryan Poles, this is looking at you. You did a great job this past year of kind of putting that blueprint out, of getting it right every single round, just about. Outside of maybe Ruben Hippolyte and then the obviouses of question marks, we don't know what, Shamar Turner and Zay Frazier will be, but you got it right in the first round with Colston Loveland. You got it right in the second round with Isaiah Trapillo and Luther Burden. You got it right in the seventh round with Kyle Monangai. Like, there's so many times that you got it right throughout the entire draft. And because of the coaching staff that you're connected to with Ben Johnson and Dennis Allen being a part of that brain trust to look at these players and look at, who could be the next Myles Garrett, who could be the next Max Crosby. If you're not trying to go out and get that person, then yes, you could develop these Zion Youngs and these whoever else that you feel can be that guy to take your team over the top. So it's controllable under the contract. And it's someone that you obviously take pride in building up over time on your team. And so, yes, I'm not going to say that it's always boring to go the route of drafting. You just got to make sure that you do it right and that you're picking properly and that you're picking the right prospects. Otherwise, you could hamper yourself for years to come because you don't know how to develop players and you don't have an eye for talent. Yeah. And so that's the hope, is that Ryan Poles continues to get better and having an eye for talent. You see, Ian Cunningham is gone, and so we're going to find out if maybe that was a huge piece that really helped him out with that, or if you can still kind of keep the train moving with great draft picks from previous years with the coaching staff that you have now.
Baki said, now watch Pat lose his mind when we make a trade for Max or Miles. Forget everything I said today. Breeze music in the background. We back, baby. We back.
Hey,
now, listen,
we happy no matter what.
Here's the thing, right? Like it's about the knowledge of what the path is, but also the understanding of if you're gonna go for it, this is now your window, and that's also exciting, right? Like it's not to say that you don't want to hold on to all the pieces that you have and build it through the draft and go about it the right way, but it is exciting. Now, exciting versus success, very different conversation. But it's exciting to see a team say, this is our window, we're going to win. Right? Like, listen, it was exciting when Matt Hasselbeck said, we want the football and we're going to score. Mm-hmm. It wasn't as exciting as Al Harris took the football the other way, but it was exciting to see him plant that flag in the ground and go, this is what we're going to do. So, like, yeah, you're going to be excited because of the big move. You're going to be excited because of Ryan Poles saying, F it, we're going for it now. We're going to find a way to make this work, and we're going to rebuild it once we get there. The hope is that it's successful. History would show you that you would be an outlier of history if you go that path. Now, realistically speaking, there have been outliers in history. I only went back to 2018 for, a lot of the big name trades and that went down, right? But there have been a few more instances in the past where going after the big name has changed a team and it was worth it for them to give up that draft capital. Not many. But your hope is that you become the team that's on the other side of that fence, that is the outlier, and can look back and say, see, how we did it was right. You win a championship. Nobody can say what the Rams did was wrong. We all kind of know it's wrong. We all kind of understand that's not how you build a football team. Mm. But they won the Super Bowl, and they went to, two NFC title games? No, one NFC title game, and they go to two? No, I think they got booted in the second round one time. Because Stafford's been there 4 years, so it's Super Bowl. I feel like NFC Championship.
Yeah.
I feel like NFC Championship, missed the playoffs. Second round, he's been there 5 years. Second round exit, NFC Championship, if I'm not mistaken. So I can't argue with how it worked because it's still working.
I mean, they've been very close. And on top of that, winning. So, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that, but that's the outlier. Do you want to be with where history says the numbers are or where the outlier is? To me, I'd rather be where history says the numbers are going to be strongest in the Bears' favor, because I don't know if we've got all the Bears off of us yet. You know what I mean? Like, it takes time for you to become that dominant team that can't be overlooked and can do whatever it wants, and somehow the moves work out for you. We haven't been that team.
And then too, for me, I just want sustained success. Like, I don't want to have these feel-good moments where it's like it only lasts for 2 or 3 years and then you're back to being a mediocre team because you can't pay anybody. Everybody has to be cut or let go, or the players are getting old and they're not productive, and now you have to start from scratch. And so that's why you take the blueprint of a Kansas City Chiefs team who still relevant. They didn't necessarily make the playoffs this year, but you can see that they're probably going to be in a position to be very good again because they're close to the top of the draft. They still got Patrick Mahomes. They still got a lot of good pieces. They still got Chris Jones. They still got McDuffie and all these other players. And so they're going to add another impactful piece to that team. Yeah. Now you still got Andy Reid. You still got a great coaching staff. So they're going to be right back in the mix. And I think that's, for me, again, the pedigree is that, if you don't go all in the sense of just putting all your chips in the middle of the table for the now, I think it's better to look at the overall future and the overall, like, the bigger picture, and saying that, yes, we want to win now, but we also want to sustain this and become a championship organization. That's how I think you can get to the the organizational, the structure of how Kansas City does things, or even the Philadelphia Eagles, teams that you see, or the New England Patriots of old, teams that you see that are constantly in it. So no matter if they're not winning and going all the way, they're always right there in the conversation. They're in the conference championship. They're in the divisional championship. They're always talked about in the offseason as somebody that's a potential playoff contender or Super Bowl contender. And I think that's where the Bears want to be for at least the next 10 years.
No, 100%. And if we're being honest, right, like there comes a point where you got to trust your coaches. You've hit that point. You got to trust your coaches. You can't go out there, because I know that this is where a lot of people, they get concerned about Ryan Poles, or they get concerned about, the coaching staff overall is they go, oh, well, he hasn't drafted well in the past. Yeah, well, Matt Eberflus kind of sucks at his job too. So does Shane Waldron. So with that being said, if these guys suck, guess what? Their picks are probably going to suck. Their answers to how to fix the problem are probably going to suck. I don't think Ben Johnson and Dennis Allen suck. I think you've got one of those, as Ben Johnson said, star-studded coaching staffs, 5-star coaching staffs. I think you've got one of those coaching staffs. I mean, we looked at it. Ben Johnson said, remember last year when he got here, and all the free agent moves had to be made, and all the trades and all this stuff pretty immediately happened. He had like a week to go. And he said he told Ryan the exact kind of players that he wanted, and if he could find them, to get them. And Ryan picks up the phone, goes, "You want Joe Tooney?" "Yep, all right." And found a way to get it done. Now you're pointing your GM in the right direction. Yes, it's the GM's job to build the team, but he also has to get the coach the players that he wants to coach. That is a part of this process. And so I think with the clarity that you've seen from Ben Johnson, the wins that you saw from Ben Johnson in year one, and overall with this team, how often we saw the development of players on the field, you got to trust that your coaches are going to be able to get it right via the draft. Otherwise, you don't have the right coaching staff. If you can't get it right in the draft, you don't have the right coaching staff. And so, like, I know a lot of people want to go big picture. Let's just get it done quick because we don't trust Ryan Poles to draft it. If that's the case, you don't got the right people in place. And I don't think that that's the case for this Bears team. I could have said that last year or 2 years ago when you were, 3 years ago at this point, when you were going, well, we don't know if we have the infrastructure to handle Jalen Carter. He ain't a gorilla in a cage. Like, you don't know how to coach a player?
Yeah, way
as a defensive coach, like Jalen Carter?
Not about that.
We don't know if we're going to be able to insulate them with good people. You got the wrong people. That's bottom line.
Yeah.
So I think we got the right people in place. You got to trust that these guys are the right people. Let us know how you guys feel in the comments below. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love as always, man. Starting the morning right, finishing off the week with a little bit of draft breakdown. Jordan JC gonna have some draft breakdown coming out here midday, about noontime on that one. So make sure to tap in with Jordan JC. Another draft prospect breakdown on today's episode, man. What are we calling these? The meaty mocks? Are we calling? Is that what we're doing here? What are we?
I just got a regular draft player breakdown.
What are we naming? No. What are we? How many? Are you giving them a steak rating? Are you giving them a 5 steak rating? That's not bad. That's not bad.
Give me ideas.
That's not bad. I'd give this guy 4 ribeyes.
Now I'm gonna implement that. You gave me an idea. I'm gonna do that now. Meaty mocks coming your way.
Oh God!
Meaty mocks coming your way.
Double entendre. Hey man, appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love as always. For Mr. Media himself, Jordan JC, it's your boy Pat the Designer. Back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bed down. One love. Peace.
Princeton Mob saying, "Am I cool?" Yeah, I'm cool, bro.
Enjoy Cabo? Are they arguing with Jimmy Hoffa?
Am I cool?
Are they arguing with Hoffa? Everybody's in here arguing with Hoffa.
That's half the comments is Hoffa just yelling stuff.
No, it's usually just him bringing up different percentages.
Crazy.
And everyone else going, but we beat you. But we beat you. But we beat you. Mm-hmm.